Congrats, you're getting cancelled today. So getting cancelled for writers and for authors is a very common thing, all right? And it typically happens for a lot of different reasons, but none of these reasons are actually crazier than a white person, okay, getting it wrong when it comes to another culture, another religion, or an experience that they haven't had. For example, someone straight, whether they're black or Asian, whatever they might be, writing a story about gay characters and then getting that story wrong, that is a death sentence, okay? And today's story, today's video, is about a white woman or a white person that basically suffered the same fate, all right? She was cancelled for being straight. Now, I know that's a hyperbolic way to put it. She was cancelled for being straight. The woke mob snatched her by the throat and they just, tossed her to a boat and sent her for sharks in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But that's really not what happened. I'm going to give you details of what actually happened in this particular case. So here's the dilemma. I'm probably confident that you have seen a lot of situations, right, where people try to represent other cultures that they're not familiar with or experiences that they haven't had. Famous example of this that I actually came across yesterday in TikTok is actually prayers for Muslims, right? So Muslim people, when they pray a particular way, right? And when Muslim people pray, there is a specific sequence that you have to follow. It's dummy simple. It's so dumb, it is remarkably easy for anyone to learn or for anyone to actually represent it effectively, okay? Easy. But so many people get it wrong. So many people get it wrong. There is so much footage of Muslims praying, but so many people get it wrong. What does this mean? It comes to the fundamental thesis of this particular video, which is, can you write something that you don't know about as an author? And the answer will surprise you, but it will not surprise you as well. In the sense that when you see these clips of Muslims being misrepresented in how they pray, that is one of the easiest things to search, look up, and find concrete one-to-one examples of how to do it and what to say while you're doing it. It means you Google it or you YouTube it, you'll find one-to-one of exactly how to do it and how it functions and how it comes together. Getting it wrong in a TV show when YouTube can explain it means you never even looked up at the most basic way to do research nowadays, which is YouTube or Google. The most basic thing, you haven't done that. Another TV show, another movie that was very similar to this was Mulan. A while back, they adapted Mulan from the animation to a live action, and they did a terrible job, okay? And everyone was dunking on Disney for actually getting very basic things about Chinese folklore wrong, all right? And a lot of people really did not like the way that they missed very, very simple things that children would know and that you can learn by simply YouTubing it. And so here is the foundation for this particular video. Can you write about something that you have no knowledge of? This particular story is actually known as American Heart. So a few days ago, I actually came across this particular, article, okay? And it sparked my interest. This article is from medium.com, all right? And it's titled, "The Most Talented Young Writer I Have Ever Known Ruined Her Career." And in this particular image, you can see from the article, the problem is the book itself was a controversy waiting to happen in retrospect, but it didn't quite click until after it was published. Like many authors, she chose to write someone else's story. In this case, her work was focused on a member of the LGBTQ+ community. It was not her story and not her experience, and she wrote about it in the careless way people often do. While she supported the community, it just wasn't her story to tell, and it was riddled with poor assumptions and a flurry of insensitivities. The internet did what it does. Initial parts of the growing outrage became visible on Goodreads. People weren't just mad, they were livid. Every new comment added more gravity to the reality of what she had done and how many people she hurt with her story. And I have to also tell you the way this particular article is written, right, is that the author is actually not mentioned to protect her from further backlash or something like that. But this particular, article really sparked my interest to make this video, mainly so that actually I can discuss this with you. Can you write something you don't know about? And if you're going to do it, how to actually go about it? What she crafted wasn't a book. I'm gonna go skip a little further. The dialogue was awkward and clunky. It was one of those books that you would put down immediately because it just wasn't there. Then the next paragraph is, but it also handled a topic that wasn't really widespread in publishing at the time, a difficult topic that is now a major and much needed discussion in society, which likely contributed to it being published. It was a topic that members of the LGBTQ wanted to read about, and you could feel the pain of it in the reviews. It was written by someone with an unrealized lack of education, and the results were harmful whether she meant for them to be or not. And the article actually goes on. This is the most critical bit. This author, while talented, made the biggest mistake that a creator can make. She chose to write a story that wasn't truly hers. It wasn't just her decision to write someone else's experience. Plenty of authors do this successfully, but she betrayed everyone involved with this one book, including herself. Her readers wanted to see themselves and instead saw someone's insensitive fantasy about the experience, and they aren't the only readers that she let down. In short, the book wasn't good. It didn't sound like her. It didn't feel like her. Compared to her other books, this one just didn't fit. Out of every story that deserved publication, this one wasn't it. And now it is likely the only one that she will be remembered by, if she is remembered at all. And this article really had me thinking, if you haven't had the experience about something, can you actually go ahead and write about that experience? Other famous authors who actually got cancelled, over the years, J.K. Rowling and Dr. Seuss. And a lot of these have to do with either misrepresentation or bad representation, in the sense that the author doesn't do the research that is necessary in order to actually bring the story to life. So, what is my take? I'm not gonna fence it here, all right? I believe that an author can write whatever they want. And however, I believe that the author must do the research, okay? I believe that the author must respect the art enough to understand his role, okay? You can have your opinions in the story. You have to put you in your own story. You have to put you in your own book, all right? You can't just write a book that doesn't include you. You have to include yourself into it. But if you're going to include other people's cultures, if you're going to include other people's religions, or a lived experience, let's say, sexual assault, let's say, pedophilia, right? For instance, someone goes through molestation as a child. If you haven't had, for instance, emotional abuse or emotional traumas, or you have never suffered from depression and you don't know what it's like. If you are not someone who has had PTSD or gone, to war, and you're trying to depict that, well, you see, in that particular scenario, you owe it yourself as an author to actually go about and look at what people have to say about this particular topic. You want to depict, for instance, culture in another country. Let's say in Brazil, right? You're an American, you want to depict Brazilian culture, folklore, traditions, and stuff like that. You have to do yourself the honor of at least reading about it and read a book, 300 pages. It's going to be fun, right? But actually read, right? Give authors who are from that particular culture, in this case Brazil, the chance of having their books read, right? And then you can, from there, look at what they're doing, how they behave, how they depict the Brazilian characters, which is an own voice, right? And from there you can learn. Not only are you helping Brazilian authors, but you are also making sure you learn, right? And you're also making sure you see how other people think. The extent to which, for instance, my culture is drastically different from American culture is so vast, sometimes it confuses me, all right? For instance, you want to depict PTSD, You need to go to talk to, for instance, a soldier who has had PTSD. If you can't do that, it's fine. Go read interviews. Ask them what it's about. Ask them what it's like. Ask them, or just research other people asking them those questions. There are many books out there that professionals write about PTSD, and there are many books out there that people who have had PTSD detail their own experience. It would be remarkable injustice for you to just skim all of that. And when you get cancelled for just, blatantly misrepresenting a sensitive topic, a very sensitive topic, that you haven't done justice, you should not cry about it and claim cancel culture. It's not cancel culture if you did a terrible amount of research, if you just looked up at few YouTube videos or few articles and you haven't read anything about the particular material. You haven't gone in depth. Not only are you someone who is insensitive, meaning you are taking a sensitive topic and you're just bashing your head into it, that's the same as taking a smartphone and just, throwing it into a volcano. It's a sensitive piece of technology. You need to give it justice, right? More so, you are also remarkably disrespectful to the art. Writing, being an author is about learning, okay? You have to respect other people's cultures. You have to respect other people's thinking enough to allow yourself to absorb the different perspective and to also write that. Since you don't know everything, but you are writing about everything, guess what? You're going to have to learn how to learn. Right? And that's key. You're going to have to learn how to learn. And it's very important. So I don't think that, for instance, a lot of authors out there who get cancelled for actually, looking at a particular culture and misrepresenting that particular culture. Storm Dancer was another book that I read, a while back, and it was also awful, full of caricatures of Japanese culture. So you are going to have to actually pay attention to how you are writing that story and what you are writing. And you have to respect the art enough to actually want to act, not to check the research, to look at other people, to give your story time, because you have to give yourself time to learn for your story to come out better. So you have to do whatever it takes for the art to come out good. All right? You should not be trying to bank on the likeness of a particular people or trying to bank on, diversity hype so you can get more money out of it, etc., etc. You should be genuinely willing to learn to represent other people, right? In your own stories, in your own writing. Otherwise, it's okay. You don't have to really do it, because it's better to have a story that doesn't have a lot of diversity, but it's well told, than to have a story that attempts to have a lot of diversity but has zero depth for any of the characters that are diverse, and they're just tokens or just name swapped characters. They could effectively be just white or something like that. So that is my take. That's my position. I'm not gonna fence it on this one. I believe that an author can write anything they want, but you have to respect the art. You have to put in the work necessary for you to do the research, for you to understand other people, other perspectives, and other experiences that you haven't had. And do the research. Give yourself time to learn. Give yourself time to be the right fit so that your art can come out better. And do not abuse other people's likeness for your own money. Do not abuse other people's sensitive experiences for your own gain, so that you can just have a book that has these experiences in it. So I hope that this video, you enjoyed it. I hope you took something from this discussion. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Have a nice day. Bye.